Joel Embiid contract extension signed. 2024, September 2024. 3-year, $193 million with, from what I understand, all guaranteed, right? There's no like injury clauses or anything like that. Following the Olympics and signing a 3-year extension, Embiid reveals he is a limited participant in training camp with knee soreness as he ramps up for the season. I mean, and remember, he was playing in the Olympics with that knee thing. I believe if memory serves correctly, that 23-24 season, dealing with injuries at the end of it, went to the Olympics, was clearly dealing with a knee injury. Everyone was just kind of like, dude, chill out a little bit. November 2024, after hyperextending his knee in the preseason, I forgot that happened. And missing the first 5 games of the season in October, Paul George missed more games in late November because of the knee. November 2024, Embiid misses the first 6 games of the opener with left knee injury management and 3 more games after a fight with Marcus Hayes. Oh, man, that was last year? It feels like that was years ago. That felt like that was 2-3 years ago when he punched that guy. December 2024. And this is part of the unlucky shit with Embiid right here. The knee stuff, chronic, and he's never going to be 100%. Embiid suffers a sinus fracture after getting hit in his face. Now, maybe he just has a fragile face. How many different face fractures has Embiid dealt with? He also reportedly sprained his foot on the Christmas Day game against the Celtics. December 2024, Jared McCain cruised into Rookie of the Year, tears meniscus, and game against the Pacers, out for the year. January 2025, Embiid misses 15 consecutive games with a sprained foot. Injury designation later changed to left knee injury management. Embiid's, he had that, what's that called? Bell's palsy? He had that. What year is it? Was it against the Raptors that one year when he was dealing with a fracture somewhere in his face? George suffers a mallet pinky finger injury, causing him to miss 5 games and take injections to deal with the pain. February 2025, Sixers announced Embiid is medically unable to play, shut him down for the rest of the year. How many games did Embiid end up playing last year? Wasn't it like 15 or some shit like that? I think we're at 50% games played for him in his career. 19 games. Coming off of only playing 39 the year before. That's right. He had that torn meniscus the year before. And still played in the Olympics, even though it was clear that he was still dealing with all that shit. And that's right. That Knicks series, he was dealing with like 12 different ailments. I remember that now. April 2025, Embiid gets arthroscopic surgery on his left knee. July 2025, George undergoes arthroscopic knee surgery for an injury sustained during an offseason workout. July 25, VJ Edgecombe sprained his left thumb during a summer league game. All right, the thumb sprain, really? All right, we don't need to include that one. Everyone blames Ben Simmons for losing that series when Embiid had a stinker of a game, was quick to use Ben as a scapegoat. No, I agree. I didn't think Embiid was very good in that Hawks series either. He averaged like 8 turnovers a game or some crazy ass shit like that. I did not think he was very good. And Quentin Grimes still floating around out there. I mean, they'll bring him back, I think. The longer this Quentin Grimes saga lasts, the better for them, I think. It is what it is. PJ was a high-risk, high-reward signing that didn't work out. At least we have Maxey, McCain, and VJ. Yeah, that is true. If they didn't have like a legitimately solid trio, the only problem is I saw a tweet yesterday that was going around, and it was like somebody trying to hype up this Sixers starting 5. It was like a TikTok edit. And it was like, it had that funk music. Dun, 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 dun. And it was Maxey, McCain, Edgecombe, Paul George, and Embiid. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, damn. when healthy, that team fucking sucks. Team's terrible. 3 guards and Paul George playing the 4? That team's awful. Team's genuinely horrible. But it is nice to have VJ, McCain, and Maxey, though. At the very least. Because what is the... Don't sleep on Bana. Yeah, and they lost Yabusele. And like, I get wanting to bring back Grimes because Grimes is a better asset than Yabusele. But, you know, God, they're so small. Where is their size? Let's take a peek here at this salary cap table. God damn, that Embiid money. 55 this year, 57, 62, 67. Paul George, 51, 54, 56. That's 3 straight years paying those guys $110 million plus. Maxey, 37, 40, 43, 46. I mean, that's fine. Outside of that, they've got those big threes in contracts, and they don't really have much outside of that. But damn, Grimes they'll bring back. We'll see what that looks like. Can't imagine that's too crazy. Do they come close to how much you make annually slightly? They're pretty close. All 3 of these guys combined. Around 200. Paul George is the worst contract in the entire league. Maxey is totally fine, to be honest. But what about when McCain wants his bread? Is Paul George worse than Embiid? His contract? Yes, right? I mean, I'm not touching either of these with a 10-foot pole. But I'm trying to think if one of these guys got traded and it's like, whoa, what the fuck? They're taking on that contract. And by the way, I don't think the Sixers would trade Embiid only because you're probably not getting a huge return, 1, and 2. Like, you trade him, you're probably not going to be very good. You have him on your team and he's hurt, you're not going to be very good. But then there is the small percentage chance it's like, hey, Embiid was healthy this year and he was really good. So, yeah, I think that's it. A team could talk themselves into Embiid, even though it's a little bit more expensive and it's a year longer. But I think teams could talk themselves into Embiid. I don't think, Paul George, what are you talking yourself into exactly? It's like Paul George is 35 years old now, which is kind of crazy to think about. It's just going to turn around for him. Like, is it just going to turn around? Oh, Embiid will get his jersey retired. Absolutely. Absolutely. And now the question is, yeah, I've heard that, E5, that like Embiid's injury is like genuinely career altering, right? But if you're him, and this is, you know, I don't know, this is kind of morbid to talk about, but it's like, look at how much money you're owed over the next 4 years. I've seen people say he might have to retire. That sounds like wishful thinking. If I'm being brutally honest, that sounds like wishful thinking from the Sixers side. Because like, if I'm Embiid, even if I play 20 games a season and I'm just constantly rehabbing, we're talking about what, $200 million over the next 4 years? $200 million. If I just soldier up, just do a bunch of rehab, you know, load manage, I'm getting $200 million over the next 4 seasons. Unless it's some shit like, dude, I'm telling you right now, like, you're not going to be able to walk in the next 10 years if you keep playing. Unless it's something like really sad like that. You hear that sometimes with like football players where it's like, yeah, they told me like I wouldn't be able to walk by the time I'm 40 if I still played. That's how Romo was. Remember that? Romo's back injuries were so bad. If that's the case, it's a medical retirement. I imagine Embiid will still get his money. Yeah, how does that work? Joel could put up 35, 15, 10 through the All-Star break and it won't matter unless he can stay healthy through the playoffs. He's going to be fine. We'll go to the playoffs as a 3 seed. Embiid is healthy and cooking, and VJ goes up for a vicious putback dunk, and Embiid and needs Embiid in the face, breaking his cheekbone. I don't like to laugh at that, but that really is. That really is like the shit that happens to Embiid. They should go back to not letting McMahon on TV. He's a troll and a complete moron. This is how you know an ESPN talking head is correct. This right here is how you know somebody has said something correct. What is wrong with what he just said? It's kind of amazing how there's a national media consensus that Joel Embiid's career is just over. I mean, it's not that. It's just it's entering the Kawhi phase where it's like, nobody's going to go into the season banking on Embiid being healthy in the playoffs. That's it. You know? Nobody's going to be like, well, the Sixers, if Embiid's healthy, you just get laughed at immediately right then and there. If Embiid and Paul George can stay on the floor, all right, well, they can't. So that ends your argument. Same thing, and I'm reaching this with the Clippers. I always kind of talk myself in the Clippers. I'm done with them just because last year I was done with them, and then they exceeded my expectations by a ton. I think I had them missing the play-in tournament. I don't remember exactly. But, well, if Kawhi's healthy and blah, 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 and Harden doesn't poop and pee his pants in the playoffs, all right, well, neither of those things will happen. Okay? Harden will shit in his pants in the playoffs, guaranteed, and Kawhi will be dealing with some type of injury of some sort that either limits him or causes him to miss time. And to be fair, Kawhi was like the healthiest he's been in the playoffs in years last year, and they still lost in round 1. But James Harden was classic pooping in his pants. Same thing with the Pelicans. Well, if they're healthy, well, they won't be healthy. So let's just end the conversation right then and there. Like, what's the point of even talking about this? It's well past the Kawhi stage at this point. It almost seems to be consensus Embiid will never truly get over the injuries among those in the know. Ugh, that makes me sad, honestly. Lil Nessa with the 499. Me and my wife watch your content. We love your videos and talk about your takes often. Here's to my 2-year anniversary into your speedy recovery. Hell yeah, Nessa. I love to hear that. Love to hear that. Family bonding over slightly biased. Incredible. Just a reminder, the GM purposely punted a season of Joe's prime in order to build a last year's exact roster and max 34-year-old Paul George. I want to segue this into a take I have, but I'm worried about it, and I want to make sure I phrase it properly because people freak out at me. But I voiced these concerns long before the fateful night of February 1st, 2025. I voiced these concerns long before that. With Luka, similar. Look, Luka's injury history up until this point in his career doesn't even come close to sniffing Joel Embiid's. I get that entirely. All right? But I felt similarly to this when it's like we're going to build for 2027. We're going to have all, and I'm just thinking to myself, I don't know if Luka is just like this guy that you pencil in is going to be healthy for the next 6-7 years. I'm not like the last 3 or 4 years, 2-3 years have been were concerning to me, and I was voicing these concerns long before the trade happened. Right? So like this idea that like, yeah, we'll build around like 2027. It's like, dude, I don't know how many years I'm just willing to openly waste in Luka's prime. Unlike Kyrie and AD, bastions of health. I never said those guys were healthy. And that's why I said I got to word this, because then people flip that and like, yeah, well, AD's always hurt. Yeah, I know. I know. Kyrie's always hurt. I know. I don't get when people like, they're like, yeah. It's like, also sometimes I'll shit on Rob Pelinka, be like, yo, yeah, well, Nico sucks. And it's like, yeah, okay. And? Like, what do you think you're getting off on? Like, what do you think you're one-upping me? Like, I'm going to always sit here and argue with you? I know. Rob Pelinka sucks. Yeah, so does Nico. But it's like, yeah, they both fucking suck. They're butt buddies. They suck. They're suck buddies. They suck together. They're fucking terrible. They're the terror twins. They're both god awful. And guess what? You want to know something? Nico's better. He is. He's just flat out better as a GM. Rob Pelinka's god awful. He's dog shit. He's horrific at it. He's god awful at GMing of a sports team. If they were located in Iowa, they'd win 15 games a year. Full stop. That's how fucking bad he is at his job, okay? He's horrible. He's atrocious. Just throwing that out there. People forget that Luka played with men since he was 14. His body will naturally break earlier than most players unless his freak of nature like LeBron. Well, also, another thing that made me voice concerns, I did not feel like he took his body seriously. And maybe he's changing that now, which would help him out tremendously. Colby with the 199. I financed the hat with Klarna, and now I'm in debt. Well, take that up with your bank. I don't know what to tell you. Klarna. Is that even an option on there? Klarna. Well, Kyrie's not getting paid all the money my owner has left to spend, whereas Luka was about to be worth that. I'd pay him, but it's worth considering. What if he doesn't? No, I mean, you still, in my opinion, you still give Luka the contract, even if you're worried about injury stuff. Like, that's just whatever. Right, whatever. Luka fat, so no health for him. Am I right slightly? No, that's not what I'm saying. The lingering leg injuries were becoming concerning to me, right? And I just had my concerns. That was it. I wasn't saying trade him. I wasn't saying don't sign him. I was just growing concerned, which is why earlier in the season, when people were so upset that his usage rate was declining, I was like, this is good. Dude, this is good. His mileage needs to come down. His usage needs to tone down. Okay? The fact of the matter is, and he's been a playoff killer, but the last 3 playoff runs now at this point that Luka's been on, he came into it dealing with some type of leg injury. That's just the truth. I also took out a payday loan and put it all on LeBron getting traded to the Mavs because I believe in Bovada odds on Twitter. Take a second mortgage out on your house right now. That's all that's next. So I was saying all that to say, like, to piggyback off of this point where it's just like, that's the risk you run when you punt seasons, you know? I also want to say this, like, idea that the Lakers are punting. I'm not sure what else they could have done realistically. And Nick kind of made this point, and this is definitely from LeBron's camp. I think I saw Nick tweet something like it, where it was like, yeah, they're building around Luka, not LeBron. It's like, well, all they did was bring in DeAndre Ayton and Jake LaRavia. Like, what does that mean? Like, it's not like they, and I know Luka wanted Ayton, but it's not like, you know, they went and had a gigantic offseason overhaul to build around Luka's desired needs. Like, they got DeAndre Ayton and Jake LaRavia. And funny enough, let one of Luka's best friends walk for nothing and got mad at him. Like, they got mad at each other. I mean, there's still months left in the offseason. Yeah, that's true. But historically speaking, once you get to mid-July, there'll be some stuff that happens. There always is. But you're pretty much done at this point. What's happened's kind of happened. And if there was something we were kind of waiting on, you know, we would already sort of know. Like when because the Jazz, they traded Donovan Mitchell and Gobert. That was later in the offseason, wasn't it? The Donovan Mitchell trade was in September. But we knew it was coming, though. Yeah, and the trade deadline is is like the new free agency. It's when the biggest shit happens, it feels like at this point. Shams really hyped up this mediocre offseason for nothing. I really think at the time when everybody was hyping that up, I think reporters and everybody thought it was like a foregone conclusion. Giannis was going to get traded. I think that's what happened. I think people were like, there's no way Giannis doesn't ask out. And then we looked around, it was like, yeah, the East is going to suck after Giannis gets traded. Then you sit down, you look at it more, and it was like, damn, the East is going to fucking suck anyways. Like the Bucks might just be a 4 seed next year on accident. Those Lakers expiring at the deadline are pretty good. No, yeah, they are. And I get what they're doing, trying to free up cap space and stuff. Just don't know how much that works anymore. Because the reality is, guys going to free agency, think about it, it's players like Paul George. Those are the guys who are like hitting free agency nowadays, who aren't like getting locked up by their teams. Because the strat now is, if we want to keep this guy, we're going to lock him up. And if this guy doesn't want to lock up with us, then we'll trade him. Because we're not going to lose him for nothing. We're not losing an asset for nothing. So the guys who get the free agency nowadays are just not, they're not that good. But I guess you could have sign and trades. I mean, you could absorb guys into your salary space and trades. So having salary space does open you up to a lot of possibilities. You just don't see like contending teams have salary space nowadays. There was none this year. Last year it was the Sixers. The Sixers were in that like really unique position. What are the top 5 free agents for 27? I mean, off the top of my head, summer 2027, I have no idea. I mean, has Fox extended yet? He was one of the big ones, wasn't he? Or is he 2026? NBA free agents. The thing with this though is like almost all of these guys will almost certainly get locked up. Right? Certainly these guys will get locked up. Steph, Giannis. I mean, none of these guys are hitting open market free agency. Like maybe Paul George is picking up that player option. I'll tell you that. Oh, Bradley Beal. Wait, I saw a tweet today that made my jaw drop. I saw a tweet today that made my fucking jaw drop. It was somebody. It was this dude on Fox. What's his name? It's not Cowherd. It's another dude who's just a bad take machine. And it was like, if Bradley Beal ends up on the Lakers, it's game over. It's like, what? What? Bradley Beal? That Bradley Beal? I mean, this list looks good. This list looks good. But you have to remember, like, these guys are not hitting free agency, man. They're just not doing it. Just not doing it. Beal, the missing piece. Broussard said Ayton is better than Jokic. No, he didn't. No, he did not. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that. Even for Broussard.